This video examines the epochal conflict that reshaped the geopolitical and biological landscape. We trace the devolution from a pragmatic alliance against an inorganic threat into a bitter struggle between Draculian aristocratic parasitism and Frankensteinian bioindustrial expansionism. The initial conflict, known as the skeleton threat, involved disintegration fleets that possessed neither flesh nor bone. Their intent was to reduce the galaxy to a literal and figurative ossuary. The Grand Alliance, formed by Dracula's legions and Frankenstein's biological creations, was fractured by the lupine betrayal. This sudden geopolitical realignment set the stage for bipolar galactic war. At the center of the conflict lies the Great Crypt, containing a dark star, an inexhaustible energy source. The Arch, a structural component, is the focus of a fundamental disagreement between Frankenstein and Dracula. The two main factions represent divergent models of post-mortal existence. Draculian aristocratic parasitism contrasts sharply with Frankensteinian bioindustrialism in teleology, resource models, and fatal vulnerabilities. Frankenstein's forces rely on a bioindustrial supply chain, including harvesting, head preservation, body stasis, and reassembly. A recurring issue is the asymmetry problem, leading to troops with distorted equilibrium. Frankenstein achieved orbital dominance by constructing space elevators out of living, vanquished corpses. This grotesque structure utilizes stretched muscle and tissue, a profound offense to the aesthetic-sensitive vampires. The collective trauma of piecemeal assembly resulted in a shared cellular nightmare, an infinitely recurring psychological feedback loop across the entire Frankenstein fleet, engineered to prevent clinical insanity. The Frankenstein Emperor copes with his stitched flesh trauma through macabre romanticism, asserting dominance over his body parts and projecting dominion through theatrical opera. The Draculian forces suffered a cultural attrition, marked by the loss of native tongues to Desperanto and the tragic erosion of aristocratic identity into numerical utility. Frankenstein exploited the vampire's obsessive receptivity to detail through cognitive labyrinth warfare, constructing immense, detailed mazes to bypass their physical indestructibility. Dracula 039 led vanguard assault tactics, ruthlessly sacrificing conscripted slave legions to trigger and map micromazes, a sign of tactical desperation following the loss of elite forces. The tactical orbital map shows the Draculian vanguard converging on the Frankenstein Green Tower on a cold, gutted world. The vampire forces are driven by deep offense at the enemy's lack of spirituality. The climactic encounter is marked by a stark pedestrian exchange. "Dracula! Frankenstein, it's you!" Yes, this exchange testifies to complete factional exhaustion after millennia of slaughter. The Monster Wars ended not with a grand philosophical declaration, but with the weary recognition of two immortal monsters who had outlived everything except each other, reaching a mutual epochal decline.